Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Dex podcast. Today, Miss Andrea Fountain from Outdure Living is with us in studio. And Andrea, or no, not in studio. I'm in studio. Andrea's halfway across the world in New Zealand, right?
I am. Yeah, on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Like it's Friday in the States. It's Saturday where you are, and it's in the afternoon here and in the morning there. So thank you for getting up bright and early to join us on this Dr. Dex podcast, Andrea. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for being with us. So, Andrea, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I work for Outdure. We have the #1 aluminum framing system, and I've been working with them for probably 11 years now. And
11
my
years.
role, yeah, it's been a long time. I've actually kind of been on the journey from the start, actually, almost on 20 years on and off. A bit of a story there, but yeah, it's been about 11 years in total in a solid work load, I guess you could say.
So your brother Craig is the founder of the company, correct?
Yeah. Yep. The designer, founder, director.
Mm-hmm. And he lives in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you are in. I'm sorry, I don't remember what city.
Auckland. Yeah, I'm in Auckland, New Zealand. So
I should have known that. That was like the #1 guess I could have made and got correct, and I totally blew it.
Yeah, there's really only one big city.
Is that really like the big city on? It's like an island, right?
Yeah, well, New Zealand's a long, skinny island. We've got a couple of islands, the North Island and the South Island, and then lots of little islands around us. Yeah, we're surrounded by the coast. It's beautiful.
And you guys are kind of known for or not known for it, but I've seen a lot of people talk about gold, like mining for gold.
Gold, yep. Gold digging.
A lot of gold and opals and things like that as well.
Yeah, and greenstone. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
A lot of panning.
Super rich.
Yeah, a lot of panning in both islands, actually, North Island and South Island.
Okay, so explain that to me. What's North Island? What's South Island?
Well, the North Island is where I am. It's a more subtropical climate, I guess you could say. And then the South Island is like the Southern Alps. So it's a bit like a mini Switzerland, kind of really crazy, beautiful mountains and big open plains. Yeah, it's quite a different climate and aesthetic. It's beautiful.
So is New Zealand considered two separate islands that are they connected at all, or do you have to like take a boat or plane to get to one or the other?
Yeah, we're literally two islands, so you have to catch a boat or a plane, one of the two.
Forgive my ignorance, but not only do I not know, but it's always good for our listeners, like the people that don't know anything about geography, to find out, because I'm learning as I'm going here, and that's really awesdon't
yeah, so there's these a big car ferry.
A car ferry, yeah,
a big car ferry, and it takes I don't know, I think it's about 4 to 5 hours to go across the Cook Strait.
Okay. So so what monetary denomination do you guys use over on your island?
New Zealand dollar.
Is it dollars or euros or
It's the New Zealand. We call it the New Zealand peso. No, it's the New Zealand dollar, and it's just our local currency, and it's struggling a little bit at the moment, to be honest, up against the likes of the US.
Is it exclusive? Is it exclusive to New Zealand?
Dad, you're not going to believe
and then
this.
What?
It's called the New Zealand dollar.
I'm sorry, man. Call me ignorant, but I'm learning I'm going to keep asking you questions. Like, you're going to find me going right and left, and it's going to be hard to stay on point, and I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry. Forgive me. It's just the way I am. And Calvin will remind me several times to not do it, but I'm still going to. Because there's so many things you're saying right now that I'm just like, what? Wait a minute. So you have your own exclusive...
the New Zealand dollar, and then there's Australian dollar. So we've each.
Does that get confusing at times for?
Well, we're quite close with Australia, so we're kind of like brothers and sisters, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
We're very competitive on sport fronts. There's a lot of rivalry. But yeah, we've got different dollars, but it's the Aussie dollar's worth a little bit more than the Kiwi.
Uh-huh.
And
So
you're
do
like,
you
what's the
like
Kiwi? What's the Kiwi?
like if you bet, we'll get into it, right? When you bet, like if you bet somebody, is that like a rank on you? Like if you bet Craig $5 and he's oh, is that in New Zealand dollars or is that in Australian dollars or is that in US dollars or
Definitely be better to do it in Australian dollars, that's for sure.
Australian dollars? Okay.
Yeah, it's worth more.
Interesting. Oh, so yeah, I cut you off. You said that your New Zealand dollar isn't doing that well right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow. It has been for quite a while actually.
Yeah.
The US dollar, I think it must be like we get 60 cents or something to your dollar. I don't know what exactly the exchange rate is right now.
So it's kind of a good time to come to New Zealand for for people in the US.
Fantastic time to come to New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah. Just blow a bunch of
lot
money, you get almost
buck.
double.
Yeah.
Bang for your buck. It's like going to Brazil, huh, Cal?
Yeah.
Totally. That's why we call it the New Zealand peso. But it's
Oh.
I know.
So what does that do for your local economy then? Like if your dollar is low, does that make it more affordable or less affordable for you guys on the island, or like what's is it liters or gallons there?
Liters. So we're all metric, and
You're all metric.
Yeah, America's the only place that has standard, which is imperial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So-
everybody caters to us too. We're snobs about it.
Took a lot of effort to translate everything, convert everything.
I'm
to
sure. Well, yeah, like
feet and
just in
inches,
your business side of
fractions.
things, right? Just because. Okay, so here's a little bit of a backstory. I've known Andrea for 4 years now, maybe
Yeah.
3-4 years, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So when we first started our business relationship, they were always talking in mils. I'm like, at first what's a mil? Oh, millimeter. Oh, you guys are those kind of people. Oh.
Regular people.
They're
We're
just
like
normal.
talking
Yeah,
two
I know.
different,
If oh,
two different
completely.
languages.
And
eh?
for you guys, and I noticed the first couple trade shows we did, you guys weren't talking in feet and inches. You guys kept talking in millimeters, and half the people at the trade show are like, because you're in the States, right? They're just looking at you like, huh?
Yeah.
Because they didn't know what you're getting at. Yeah. And I was picking up on your lingo, but I still didn't know what 90 mil. I couldn't do the math conversion in my head to go, oh, that's 1.5 inches or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
And now it's
that
still quite hard.
must have been difficult. It's still
Yeah,
quite hard.
It is still quite hard. Like our brain, we're much better than we used to be, but sometimes although your fractions are very difficult. I don't know how you guys work in fractions. Whew.
Well, I suppose because we started in it, but I
You could
broke
just-
fractions down to an easier science than the 1 inch tape measure, or inches, feet and inches on a tape measure. We just say plus or minus to the 1/8 inch versus all the 16ths, because that does get stupid. So if you say 9 5/8 minus, that's the same thing as 9.5 plus. As long as you get the same mark, just whatever lingo you got to use. And I was on one of your crews. When I flew, you guys brought me over to Australia, and I came to your warehouse, and we spent 3 days grinding out all these videos.
Yeah.
We probably got to do that again, Andrea, because I'm like 30 pounds lighter now than I was when we did those videos. So those are no good.
The new
You probably put
new
me
and
in
improved.
a large jumper now, and a jumper's a hoodie, and you're wearing the jumper that we were wearing
am.
when we were shooting the videos. And I look like a whale in that thing, just a beast
Well,
whale. It was terrible.
I think it was the jumper was too big for you. I think that was the problem.
Yeah. Well, you asked me what size I was. I said I like a 2X, but that was like a 3 or a 4X actually.
It was a big
It
one.
said 2X on it, but okay, they're very generous. And us. Well, now did those come from Australia, New Zealand, or from China, or where were those?
Well, actually, it's a Kiwi company at AS Colour, and
Okay.
they're all through the States and Australia now. So it's pretty much a global company. It's a friend of ours.
Okay.
So AS
Okay. So
Colour,
the
yeah,
kiwi. So
yeah, Kiwi
kiwi.
guy,
Let's. Okay, kiwi. Explain kiwi to me, because I've heard it many
yeah,
times and I get it, but I want everybody else to know what's that all
yeah,
about.
sure, yeah. So our native bird, or sort of represents New Zealand, is a kiwi, and it is a bird that is flightless, so it can't even leave the ground. It has some useless wings, but it's very
Like a
cute, and it
turkey.
has a big long beak. So you'll have to Google it and show a little picture, I
Okay.
think.
So
It
that's kind of
is.
funny.
It is. It's a flightless bird.
'Cause
I don't know.
flightless bird. Because I always thought kiwi. I was always thinking fruit.
Yeah, well, kiwis, I guess that's another iconic fruit that is associated with New Zealand, but I believe kiwis are also like from South America, Brazilian, and probably parts of
You know
Asia
what's
as
funny
well.
is
So,
kiwi actually grows in my native state as well.
oh,
And I did
really?
it, but yeah, but it stinks. Like when it blooms, at least the
Yeah.
one this lady had, man, this thing reeked. It was weird, but it put out
Mm.
really awesome fruit. I was like, these are delicious, but in certain parts of the year, uh, before it bloomed, it was like this thing puts out an odor that's really unique. You know, it was like almost offensive.
Oh, I don't
But
think
the
ours
fruit was
stink too
delicious.
bad.
No,
Yeah,
probably not. I imagine they
they're a
probably
good fruit.
smell amazing. Yeah, yeah, I love kiwi. I think it's a great fruit. I'm into that kind of like citrusy flavored, uh, but a
Yeah,
good kiwi, it's hard to beat.
it is.
But
It's
it's
hard to
actually about
beat.
the bird. It's not about the fruit.
That's right. Yeah, so
And
we've got
so
some
people
kiwis
refer
on
to
our
you as a
coins.
kiwi.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's on your currency.
It's on our currency. Yeah, it's what we get to. It's like the slang word for New Zealander, Kiwi.
Okay, so at IBS, if I bring you $6, you could give me a 10 spot. It'd be
I
equal
don't know what that
exchange.
means.
Oh, a
Oh,
ten
yeah,
dollar
yeah,
bill,
yeah,
a
yeah,
$10 Kiwi bill.
yeah. I'll give you
How are
10
how are
bucks
they
Kiwi.
denominated? How's your currency denominated? Is it similar to U.S. dollars, or do you guys have change, or is it all in coins, or I mean, as far as the loose change, or is it bills, or what?
Yeah, well, we only have three coins actually. A 10
That-
cents, a 20, and oh no, sorry, that's not true. We've got 10, 20s, and 50 cents, and then $1 coin and $2 coins. And then it goes
Mhm.
into notes after that.
I think that's really smart. Just round
We've
it
cut
up or
out all the
down to the
ones and
10
twos.
cents.
Yeah. We used to have
Like
ones and
pennies and
twos.
nickels.
It's long gone.
Yeah, pennies and nickels are like you know what? It costs more to
Useless.
produce a penny.
Yeah.
They're like, I think it's like 3 cents to make a penny.
Wow.
It's like, well, why do we even have it? This is so
Yeah.
stupid. Like, round it
Skip
up
to
or
the
down. And
quarters.
you guys, I kind of, yeah, right. I kind of like how you
That'd be
said,
good.
screw it. We're not doing pennies and we're not doing nickels. It's a dime. It's either you lose 9 cents or you gain 9 cents or whatever, or 5 cents, 6 cents, whatever it is. Like the mathematics on that, that would make more
Yeah.
sense to me. Like,
I
well,
think
it's kind
so.
of funny because in the States, since COVID, one of the things is, okay, well, I'm going to order out. We've been ordering out a lot more, and we continue doing that after COVID, after everybody was back to normal.
Mm.
Except when you order out, they want you to leave a tip, no matter what. Like, okay, I never used to do this, but now you want me to leave you 10% just for coming and picking up my own food. I'm like, I don't mind leaving you something if you guys cook really good, but I didn't get any service for that tip.
Yeah.
So where do
It's
you
all
stand
about
on that?
service, right? Yeah, I mean, we just don't
Yeah,
have a tipping culture in New Zealand at all.
you don't.
No, not at all. I think they just pay a wage to the staff and expect that they're doing their job to the certain degree. But yeah, we find that quite mind blowing. That even traveling through the airport, you're going through getting a coffee or something to eat, and they want you to tip. It's like, is
Yeah.
this? Do you
Like,
really want to tip for like counter service? Like you're not coming to the table, you're not asking, you know,
I'm
for
a little
the
torn. Like, I hope people that are in the service industry don't get me wrong, but I've always like I was a bartender when I was 19 years old in Tucson, Arizona, and I worked hard for my tips but I had to serve
yeah,
people alcohol, right? So that's one
rowdy
thing, and
people.
and we used to tip. Oh yeah, rowdy. And then the fun part about that was I was the youngest bartender in Tucson, and they wouldn't let me drink, but I could serve because I was only 19 years old, right? But I ended up going to all the bars anyways, and then I ended up getting a fake ID, and I'd go out with all the bartenders. And when all the bartenders would get together, and then we would decide, okay, we're going to this bar tonight, and we're gonna we're gonna overload the bartender. We're gonna see what kind of skills they have, and then we're gonna tip the hell out of them, and we're gonna get hammered. And so we would go out and just go berserk on these people. And it was great because it became a thing. Like we had this group of people that would go out and we would just crash one bar. And it became the rowdiest, funnest part of the night where we would just show up like a blizzard or a tornado or something. And then everybody's
Yeah,
freaking out because they couldn't keep up with all these alcoholics that are in their bar drinking all their drinks. And we're requesting all the fancy schmancy stuff, you know? Anyway, okay, I'm getting way
nice.
left here. So, anyways, Andrea, tell me about where did you guys grow up?
Here in Auckland, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
just slightly east of the city.
So, elementary, grade school, junior high, high school, all that?
Yeah, so we had a cute little primary school that we went to, Kohimarama Primary, and then yeah, we actually there's three siblings in our family. We all went to slightly different schools for intermediate, well, which is like middle school and high school. So we all went to different places. Yeah, so I ended
And
up going into a school in town actually for high school.
so, your brother, is he older than you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have one other sibling?
Yeah, my sister who turned 50 last year, she's the oldest in the family.
Okay. So, you're the youngest of three.
Yeah, the
You're
the
the
baba.
baby. Okay. All right. So how many years different are the siblings, like your sister, your brother, and then you?
Yeah, there's 2 years between my sister and my brother, and then 5 from Craig down to me. Yeah.
Okay. And
But
guys, we would have Craig on the podcast as well, and I'm sure someday we actually will have him on here. He's just a really hard guy to pin down. As you guys are building this brand and building this, and we're going to talk about all that, okay? But he's just gone all the time, and he's in
he's
multiple time zones every
yeah,
week. And
yeah,
I personally, and because I'm on the other side of the world, I just have a hard time pinning him down. And Andrea is like
yeah.
my connection. So that's why she's here, because she's here. So,
Yeah, he's pretty
anyway,
flat tack at the moment. There's as you know, running the company, and there's so many layers to it. So he is pretty
yeah,
busy at the moment. Yeah.
yep, yep. Since I've known him, really, he's been a
Yeah, I
pretty busy
know.
guy.
It's got worse, I'd say. Busier.
Yes, and since he's had his back fixed, he seems like he's just hasn't had a chance to like slow down or take the foot off the gas, you know?
No, I mean that worked out really well. His back surgery was a really good success, and it's still with all the flying seizures up sometimes,
Ugh,
but
yeah,
he doesn't
vicious.
complain. He just keeps pushing through. Mm.
Right, right, vicious. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Travel. We'll talk about that a little bit. But okay, so I know that you were into some kind of sports growing up, but what were you into,
Yeah.
academics in school or sports, or where did that all stem from?
Yeah, I guess naturally I've been a very sporty kid from a young age. I've done dance for like 13 years and did gymnastics competitively for a number of years until my coach ruined my shoulders. Um, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed school. I wasn't particularly academic, but I really enjoyed the school life and culture and being a part of the school sports teams and just a lot of individual sports as well. So as gymnastics is obviously individual, and then got into always into snowboarding and skiing, and then got into
Hmm.
wakeboarding in like the early 90s when it first came through.
So the
Okay.
gymnastics, I want to know more about
Oh,
that. And how old were you, and for how long did you do that for?
cool. Yeah, so I started gymnastics probably when I was about 7 or 8, and I just started at a local club. But one of the other girls and I got really into it and started progressing, and so we ended up going to a bigger club, quite far away actually, and we started training like 4 times a week for several hours a day, on those sessions. And we ended up getting into a squad that was sort of pre-training for the Commonwealth Games. But I really didn't have very flexible shoulders, and my coach actually destroyed my shoulders from trying to make them more
Oh,
flexible. So I only really did it up until I was about 12 years old, and then I had to quit. I was just in too much
oh,
pain. I got stress in the growth plates and all sorts of different ailments. But I kind of ended up growing out of it, and then got back into, like, I continued dance over that period. But yeah, really got into board sports after that. That's where
okay.
it
So
all,
tell me about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so back, I guess it was early 90s. So Craig, obviously being the older brother, was always a leader of finding the cool new thing to do with his mates. And then I was just like, yeah, I want to do it. And I literally like learnt how to wakeboard with these guys, and they would be like, you can try 180. And then I was like, okay, I'll try 180. And then tried different tricks along the way. Um, and yeah, it just kind of progressed. So the first few years, we just started behind an inflatable dinghy with a 25 horse motor on the back because my parents had a boat. So we literally are just doing laps around the bay, starting old school ways. Originally, I actually started with a surfboard. That was the very first thing, and then we actually got a directional wakeboard or surfboard with sandal bindings. I don't know if you remember those, because you're a
Oh
water
yeah.
skier. Yeah,
I was, yes. Not bad. Never amazing. Never slalom coursed, but I was okay at slalom.
yeah.
And I did a little bit of kneeboarding back before wakeboarding.
Oh
There was
yeah,
kneeboarding.
we did
Did
that
some
too.
kneeboarding. We
Surface
did a little bit of bare.
360s.
Yeah, yep. A little bit of barefoot.
Yeah, I could
Not a
never
ton. I
barefoot.
wasn't the best at barefoot, but then as I got older, I bought a small little like 17-footer outboard 115 Merc on it, and I
Yeah,
used to almost stop it dead in the water when I'd really hurl on the rope, like
yeah.
cut
Goes,
hard. I think I did
"Rrr."
stop the boat.
Yeah,
I did stop the boat once because I was pulling so hard, and I was holding my breath. I'd get these massive migraines when I'd water ski because when
yeah.
I'd go for a cut, I would hold my breath for some reason. I couldn't breathe. Like I would just stop
Oh,
breathing in between my cuts because I was just focusing on not crashing, right?
yeah,
And I'd pull out about 3 or 4 cuts, and my head would be banging. It would just
yeah.
be like I just let go of the rope. I'm like, ugh, what's going on? But anyway,
Breathing's essential.
so you started wakeboarding quite a bit, huh?
Yeah. So
This is where
I
things
mean,
get interesting.
yeah, I mean, we literally just were starting behind a dinghy, and then we'd take the dinghy out more and more, with a whole group of mates like Craig's age,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was about 16 or 17, my dad and I went thirds in a tiny little boat. I put all my life savings into this tiny little
Oh,
boat, all of $1,200 worth. And so we spent about 3.5 grand on our first boat. And then from there, yeah, we ended up going to the first wakeboard nationals, which was, I don't know, 1999, something like that.
okay.
And from there, Craig kept upgrading the boat, so we had a better boat to get more air. We had all the fat
Mm-hmm.
sacks, the pole, and all the stuff that we needed to do. The big sound systems
Of
on the
course, you got to
boat.
have good sound when you're
You
wakeboarding.
got to have the
What's the
beats.
use?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had fun. Like we just started doing some local competitions, and they had winter series, and we'd go away with friends camping over summer. and exploring all these cool lakes, some of the most beautiful lakes with natural sort of hot pools as well. So it was a really fun
Mm-hmm.
social time.
Mm.
But then, because I'd won the nationals, the New Zealand committee asked me to go to a wakeboard competition in Japan, and I think 2001 it was, and
Oh.
that was really just opened up my whole eyes to the world of perhaps competing and traveling the world with wakeboarding. Yeah, so that was an incredible experience. It was the World Wakeboard Cup, and it was in Akita in Japan, and yeah, that's where it all began for me.
Okay. So how old were you then?
I think I was 21. Maybe no, I was
Wow.
20. 20. I was 20, and
Okay,
I'm
so you started
44.
competing. Uh-huh.
It's a
Wow.
long time ago.
It's a just a hop, skip, and a jump. But okay, so this is really cool. So you started doing local wakeboard competitions. You guys upgraded your boat. You kept more air, bigger tricks.
Bigger tricks.
You got so good. You got so good. You were invited. You started doing local competitions, and you were invited to go to like a world. I don't
A
know,
World
world
Cup.
championship or something.
Yeah, this was
World
a
Cup.
World Cup event. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was the World
Because
Games.
once you told me this that you were a professional wakeboarder, I Googled you. Because I wanted to see. I wanted to see you. And you're right there. I was like, how cool is that, Calvin? You'll have to you have to Google Andrea Fountain and put her up on our podcast.
I might be able to send you some videos or something.
Sure, yeah, send them to Calvin and we'll put them
photos.
on this. People, please do. I mean, I don't know a lot of professional wakeboarders that have traveled the world with their craft. So you told me also that you spent some time in Florida, correct?
Yeah, so I guess after Japan, I'll sort of give you a bit of a rundown. But so after I went to that competition in Japan, I came back, and then I was studying, and then I was like, I didn't want to study anymore. I was doing interior design, so I've always loved houses, and the building industry and design things like that. So then I quit my studies and ended up getting a job in sales, and worked for this really cool company called Globe, and they were, which you might know from Globe skate shoes, and they did Gallas, and they did all these other cool
Oh,
brands like
cool.
Mooks and M111 and Mossimo and Paul Frank.
Oh, I love
They had a
Massimo,
whole
yeah.
they had a whole collection of brands that they would sell, and so I started selling that. But then after a year, I was like, I think I want to quit my job to go wakeboarding, which didn't go down very well with 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 the parents at the time. But I think at the end of the
Right.
day, you've got to follow your absolute dreams and passions. And so I actually just got 3 months off work and went to Europe and did the European tour for 3 months. And then I came back and continued my job. And then the following year, I actually quit the job completely and went to the States, to Orlando in Florida, to see how
Okay.
I would go. Yeah, and
And
that
how did
was
that go?
interesting. Yeah, it was. I mean, an
Yeah.
incredible experience. For me, coming from a little country down under, there was all the people that I'd looked up to for years in the videos. So like your Dallas Fridays, Emily Copeland, Sean Murray, all the famous guys I ended up getting to hang out with and ride with, and train with, and it was an awesome experience. It was pretty incredible.
That is an awesome
And
experience. What a blessing, huh?
yeah, so amazing.
How
So
cool.
yeah, and then we would use that as a base, and then I would travel to contests in Europe and Asia, pretty much all over, like Dubai, Singapore, Doha, Japan, China, um, France, Spain, Canada, and obviously
So
there was
you
the
had to be
pro tour
pretty
in the
good. You had to
States.
be pretty good, right? You had to be pretty
Well,
good to stay on tour and to be able to continue to compete, right?
yeah, yeah. You had to be up to a certain standard, and it was didn't always go your way. Some days you had a bad run, but then you'd have to pick yourself back up and try again for the next contest.
How long were you on this wakeboarding journey where you're competing? Like, how long did that timeline last for?
Yeah, it was about 6 years from that
Oh,
first trip
wow.
to Europe, and then in 2008 I decided that it's time to go home. But it was also the year of the GFC, so it was a time where there was less and less money around. Right, 2008 was a pretty tough time for the economy worldwide. Mm. So I decided it
GFC,
was
what's
time
that?
to go. Global, oh my goodness, what is it?
Financial crisis.
Global finance.
Financial
Should we
crisis.
start that
Okay,
again?
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. You just started with the
Yeah.
first word. I got it. Okay, wow. Okay, wow. I mean, that's just crazy to think that you toured
Yeah.
competitively for 6 years. That's awesome.
Yeah. But Florida,
Cool.
man, that place was just thinking of all the stories. Like there's alligators, there were hurricanes. Like one year we had 3 hurricanes in 6 weeks, and
What part
literally
of Florida were you?
hiding in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I know it's a funny town. I
Wow.
I don't think I'd choose to live there, but I mean, it's very pretty actually. Beautiful trees, amazing lakes. But yeah, there was 3 hurricanes in 6 weeks one summer. And we're literally in the bunker in the storage room in the middle of the building, and there's dust falling off the walls, and the roof is being ripped off. Like you can
Oh
actually
my
hear it going.
goodness.
We had mattresses up
Oh.
against all the windows, and the boat sunk. Yeah, the those big steel poles like this with
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I don't know, they must be like almost 12 inches wide, round, with big billboards on them. They were bent at 45 degrees. Like I'd never seen anything like it in all my life. It was
Oh, that must have
the eye
been
of the
quite
storm.
scary.
Yeah, it was very intense actually.
Oh
Yeah.
man. So yeah, because we're gonna be back in Orlando in
I know.
February.
IBS. Yeah.
Yes.
And luckily we got to go there last year with Parkside. So we were doing some training with the Parkside team. So we got to catch up with some friends along the way, which was awesome because I hadn't seen them for 16 years or more.
Oh, how
So I'll be
cool.
back. I'm looking forward to February.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So you decide, hey, I think I need to retire from wakeboarding, and you decide to move back to New Zealand.
hmm
Okay, so you do that, right? And then what?
And then what? Well, it took me a while to kind of, I guess, find out who I was outside of that wakeboarding thing. I don't know, a lot of sports people have that issue, when they're trying to mingle and integrate back into a normal job. So it was pretty hard actually. I did a couple of different things and I didn't love it. And then I ended up getting back into sales and worked for a company, an Australian company called EMU, and they do all the sheepskin boots and beautiful merino and leather clothing. So yeah, I was back selling on the road. I was on the road a lot. It was a lot of fun. Great company to work for. And I did that actually in the end for about 6 years. And then from there, I went into Outdure, so selling framing,
Okay.
and yeah,
Explain to me how that transfer happened.
yeah,
Obviously you must have had some kind of a conversation with your brother, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
how
the
did that
cool
go down?
thing, yeah, well, for me, ever since Craig and Lucy started their company and they were doing a property development in Kerikeri, I was in wakeboarding mode then. So in the summers, I'd come back to New Zealand and do odd jobs and work in between. And at times, I'd work the whole summer for them. So I really have been a part of that, watching Outdure grow and develop over that time from the start. And I would help them with home shows even when I wasn't working for them. So I really understood what the product was already. And so it was a bit of a it was really a no-brainer for me. I wanted to work for them. I saw a really innovative and exciting product. Like, there really was nothing like it on the market with the framing system. Obviously, there's plenty of composite decking boards, which we were selling in New Zealand and Australia, but the framing itself was incredibly innovative. And I think that's one of the coolest things about Craig and Luce, his wife. They're really forward thinkers, and they love innovation and they love technology. So I knew it wasn't just going to end there. It was going to only grow and develop into something more. Yeah. So that's kind of why I transitioned into those roles. And also, it was nice to be able to have that support while having kids. I've got 2 children and they're 8 and 9 now. So it's been nice to have a bit of flexibility there. And they keep me
Absolutely.
busy.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they are definitely at that age. They're definitely making mom hit all the points, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
They
So,
are.
so explain to me. I have a couple questions. So you started full time with Outdure. Let's get into depth on what exactly is Outdure, and how did that name come about?
Yeah, well, it didn't start off that way. It has had a name change along the way. So it was sort of eco decking, and then it became Outdure, and that stems from being outside and durable. So Outdure. So it's a combination of those 2 words, and it really does live up to that name. So the framing system itself, obviously, is an aluminum powder coated product, and um, in New Zealand, it is surrounded by the coast. Like, just like I talked about before, we're 2 islands. It's long and skinny. So having a powder coated aluminum product really fitted the bill and the requirements for our harsh climate here. Yeah, so Outdure became the company name. And then obviously the quick build is the framing system itself. And then we had some other products underneath that.
Let's talk about the framing system, because that's why you're here and that's why we know each other.
Yeah.
Just a quick rundown for our listeners is I've been using basically almost all for the last 2 years straight. I've been using mostly Outdoor framing. And I've been framing everything in aluminum. And if you follow us on social media or on our YouTube channel, you definitely know this. And it's all been your product. And it is really like an erector set. Like, there's parts and pieces that make sense for this product to come together. But instead of me talking about it, since you're the manufacturer, basically, why don't you just give us a quick rundown on like your profiles and your connector pieces? And it's not, honestly, as far as when you say quick build, you're talking about just the framing components, not surface. But you can also talk about that as well, what kind of surfaces you offer and that thing. But really, when I think of Outdoor, me personally, I think of aluminum framing.
Yeah.
So explain to me why your system is so unique. I could do this for you, but I want you to tell me in your words what you have and all the different profiles and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it is an exciting system to talk about, because it is the most versatile framing system on the market. And it's not just because it does multi height. It does everything from a 2-inch surface or 2-inch frame, all the way through to these big 2x8s that you're using. So what that enables you to do is go over a waterproof membrane or an existing concrete pad, and then as you gain more height, it could be over a loose metal area or soil, and then over these big elevated areas. But the framing system is just not versatile because of those variable heights. It's because you can actually use any surface finishing on the top. So you're not restricted just to composite decking board or hardwood. We've got a beautiful porcelain tile, or you can use any porcelain tile on it for that matter. And then we've also got the aluminum turf baseboard, which is basically like a hollow aluminum decking board, a hollow profile, and then the turf just rolls out and gets screwed in. So you can actually use any surface, but you can also integrate. So often on commercial projects that we're doing for, say, like a rooftop bar or a podium space, you've got the ability to go from composite decking board to tile to turf. So we've even had putting greens on a rooftop, for example, which is pretty cool.
If you go to the website, if you go to your website, you can see samples of this before, during, and after the finish work. It's pretty cool. Like, these rooftop applications are incredible.
Yeah, I mean that is really where it began for Outdure, is those rooftop scenarios. But over the last 15 years, it's really developed into a complete framing system for any height. But yeah, that sweet spot over low height where you've got trapped moisture, limited airflow. I mean, it's just an absolute no-brainer. I mean, you see people using timber strips, for example, on these areas, and you're like, man, we know from experience that's only going to last 6 months before it starts to move, even less.
Right. Or decay and rot and fall apart. I mean, there's no airflow.
Absolutely.
It's like, and where I am from, it's wet all the time, so things just stay moist, and then it just falls apart. Like, and rot and decay. Dry rot is a real thing, and the job I just finished, I'm still on it, but the back deck that we did some low level landings, and they're in the dirt. They're basically in the dirt, and the clients told me, we're putting dirt up against this. I'm like, go ahead. It's aluminum. It's not going to rot, man. We're good. We clad it in whatever brand. We're mostly in PVC products. So we clad everything in that. So if it gets moisture, if it gets dirt, if it gets decay, it's. I mean, your product, you guys, what's the warranty on Outdoor framing?
Lifetime. It was.
Yeah, think about that.
So, yeah.
Because I was going to say 400 years.
Yeah, it's all available on our website. So there's like a schedule of things to read through, but absolutely lifetime warranty. We've been selling the framing system for more than 15 years. We have never had a warranty claim on the framing system. We sell composite decking boards in New Zealand and Australia, but it's more often that the boards have an issue. Like the framing system, no, not at all.
Right. And as
you've
I would
built
expect.
With it. Pardon?
Go ahead.
I was going to say you've used the system in almost all scenarios, from that very first project you did over that rooftop deck. So that's where it all began with Outdure for you. I think Craig and you'd been talking for like a couple of years even before that. So I mean, you've probably been talking with Craig for, I don't know, would it be 6 years or 5?
Yeah.
6?
Yeah, at least five, probably 6. Because we did have some casual conversations before that. And then the thing that's scariest part for me was I needed to talk to Craig because I had this project that I wanted to try his product on, and I could not figure out how to get a hold of him. I couldn't remember where did I see, because he reached out to me and said, hey, if you ever want to try this, let me know. And I'm like, where's that message? It took me forever. It took me days. Yeah, exactly. I was like, and when I finally found it, I was like, oh, there it is. reached out to them, and that's where it started.
Yeah.
And that was,
Nice.
and that deck went from 1.5 inches to over 10 feet, past the wall, and then it dropped 10 feet to a lower level, off a landing for stair. I mean, it was crazy. Like
Stairs,
for our
you had a
first one, it
spa.
was good thing we had Craig there, because it would have been a challenge for me to figure that one out on our own,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we've pretty much done just about everything that your product will allow us to. But that's quite a bit of variance from the thinnest profiles to the thickest profile that you have.
Yeah. So there's 6 profiles, but they're all pretty much interchangeable. So it is like a Meccano set. Literally, the tiny profiles, which are like 1 inch or ½ inch high, they have slightly different components.
Right.
But they still work with the other profiles, but the other 4 profiles all have the same components. They have the same 90-degree bracket, the same joiner bracket, the same joist anchor. So they literally can mix and match. And that probably brings us to the vital product, because you can have the best system in the world, but if you can't get someone to quantify it and understand how it goes together, then you're not going to be able to sell it. So with the quick build system has been developed the software called the deck planner, or the deck planner. I need to say that probably a bit more carefully, knowing the American accent. So so we've got software that helps you design and price your project, and then it ends up having a whole shopping list at the end, and then also instructions on how to put it together. So that's all available on our website, and it is incredible. So you literally can upload your own plans and overlay over the top, draw over the top, or you can create, like if you've just got a sketch with 20 feet by 12 foot, and then you can just free draw it yourself. And you can change the board direction, you can put breaker boards in, picture framing, and basically anything. You can put the boards on some crazy angles, and then create the shopping list. And you can also replicate it and try it again with a slightly different layout, so you're not having to redraw the whole thing. Or you can even try it with tiles, and now the tiles are incredible. So the
fast.
software,
It's very fast.
it's so fast to install. Yeah, absolutely. But the software, without the software, I mean, it's impossible to do the volume that we're now doing in the States. And that's actually a big reason why we held off coming to the US until we had that software really rolling, and working up to the standard that we needed. And that's our in-house tool.
That software is pretty new, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, we've been using it for years as our internal resource, to design and price. But now we're wanting it to be a public, a use that's like used by everybody.
Right. So for a common builder like myself, that resource has been recent. I mean, it's been out for months, but it's something fairly new. So because
it is fairly new.
The one thing that I get from being on social media and doing all the videos and everything, how much is it? Is it less than wood? Is it? No, it's more than wood. This is a premium product. I don't downgrade. I upgrade. And so one thing for me, instead of me saying it's X amount of dollars, because it changes depending on the size and scope and type and profile. So for most of our followers, I just tell them, hey, there's a pricing guide on their webpage, a deck designer. You can go out and you can figure out how much it's going to cost.
And that's the best way.
And it's good for it really is, because most people just want you to tell them how much they're going to have to pay for it. They don't want to do the research.
And
I was like, hey man, put in the effort.
And I mean,
go
you're literally
find out.
Talking a freestanding deck versus a a deck that's got a ledger board, and then you've got railing. So if it's off the ground, you're going to have to put some blocking and extra material in there for the railing. Low
Yep.
height projects. There's very little on offer that enables you to do what we do. So the pricing there is super cost effective. Obviously the bigger the profile, the more expensive the material gets. But I remember you saying one day that you had just installed on a timber frame your TimberTech boards, and then you had to go back in the summer. I think it was the summer, or maybe it was the winter, to readjust the boards because the timber underneath was already moving.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the framing system that you're using, the quick build, there is advantages. You've got a solid, so it is 3 times as much as timber, but it's going to be a lifetime warranty. It's always going to be straight. It's super easy and modular to put together because of the brackets. I mean, it would have been cool to actually have some of those profiles, how to show everybody like how they match up, and it's just dead flat. And you can see with your Stabilo challenges that it just glides over the top.
Yeah, I got people. it's a mixed batch of comments that we get on those because, look, I tell people, look, I understand this is a manufactured product, but it just goes to show you how straight it is.
That's
okay?
why it's good.
It's so simple that you guys are making it complex because you just want to complain about the fact that that's not a flex. I'm not really trying to flex. I'm just showing you how nice and flat this product is and how fast the level. I mean, I'm throwing this thing 60 feet, man, and it's bouncing off the other side of the house.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. When you're a professional deck builder, that's what you want.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, this is a no-brainer, man. But anyway, so it's funny, you're always going to get those people. Always.
They're like, it's not authentic. You didn't build it out of timber. It's like, well, that is the point. Like, you don't have to plane down every joist to make sure it's level. Like, every piece in that pile is perfect. There's no wastage. And that's the other cool thing about the planner, is that it actually works out using wastage. So you're actually minimizing waste on site. And it's so good.
There's even some connector pieces, depending on the application, where you can connect the framing back together with, so that you're really, like you said, virtually not wasting anything, as long as you don't put it in the wrong scenario. And what's cool about Outdure, and I've personally have done this myself, is you have a team of people that can advise you about what you can and can't do with your products if you're in a certain scenario. And I've actually used you guys, and I've talked to Curtis. Curtis is a gentleman that works with Outdure, and he also has, does he have an engineering background as well? He just knows a lot about your product.
He's a previous installer for the system. So he worked for a company called Number One Decks in Australia, and now he's our sort of product manager. So he was in technical, and now he's sort of, he's sort of helping develop a whole lot of. He's actually a very busy guy. He's doing a lot with the planner and the.
He's great. He came over to the States, and we spent a few days putting together some crazy staircases. That we did on a job. I mean, if you guys want to see some of these builds with Outdure, just go through our social media and you'll find them. You can go through here on YouTube, or you can go back to our Instagram page as well and just type in Outdure, or use the hashtag OUTDURE, and my stuff will pop up relig all over the joint. It's really, I've been eating, breathing, and spitting aluminum now for a couple years straight. And
I know
there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it is. It's so good. So here's one thing I wanted to chat.
You love a good complex
Andrea.
build. You love it.
Yeah,
you eat it up for breakfast.
It
You're
takes
like,
a little bit out of you
job.
every time. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like I probably bit off a little more than I could chew on that last one.
On that last
You
one.
kind of, yeah, you kind of leave a little bit of something, your soul, with that project because you put so much into it. There was so much problem solving that went on.
Yeah.
This chat is not really about me, but it goes to show you if you have a desire to do something,
Yeah.
and with your product, it's doable. Like we did it.
Mhm.
We succeeded, you know, and
Yeah.
that's a testimony not only to maybe my ability as a deck builder, but also
Absolutely.
the product itself, the massive cantilevers we got, all the cool stuff that we did.
Yeah.
It does take time. Like some of this, if you're okay, so with Outdure, it's an amazing system, and if you're keeping into the confines of squares and rectangles, it's pretty quick.
Super
But
fast.
as soon as you deviate from that, expect to spend some time with the product and figuring it
Yeah.
out. But that goes with lumber. It's just you can't cut it the same way you would cut lumber on a 70-degree angle. You got to figure out a new way to do it. So
Yeah.
those are just and you got to figure out a new way to attach it. And you know, there's just some things you got to do. But that's why I'm an ambassador of your product, so that when these guys see something I build and then they get inspired to do something similar, they have a resource that they can go to and say, "Hey, Dr. Dex, how did you do that?"
Mm.
You know, and then we can discuss that in a rational manner to help these guys figure out what they might need to do,
Yeah.
make their job successful as well. So anyway, okay, so Andrea, I had two questions and they both disappeared out of my brain. Calvin, do you remember what those were?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh, has he got?
I'm not
ESP?
telling though.
He's joking. He's joking.
I was
we
wondering
don't-
if maybe I could just cover off the fire rating quickly.
Oh.
So with aluminum, it is a Class A fire rated product, which makes it absolutely perfect for all those states that are affected by the WUI, the wildfire issues that are going on, particularly California, Colorado. There's certain parts of the states that are really hot on it, right? So fire rating, absolutely perfect. The other thing that it doesn't do is rust. So all those coastal applications, so all down through from where you are, all the way down to San Diego, and obviously even like Texas, Florida, all the way back up to the northeast, and New Hampshire and Maine and things like that. So also, obviously, it's not just salt water, but all the water does contribute to rust. So with the aluminum system, you can cut it anywhere without any steel filings dropping on the ground and causing rust marks, which is an absolute nightmare around pools. We've heard some
That's why
absolute
I
horror
avoided
stories.
it. I've never used steel, and I never brought it into my business because of that reason. I've been waiting. I was waiting for 4 years for you guys, and I didn't know it. I didn't even know it at the time. But I knew aluminum. I knew aluminum was coming. I knew it, but I didn't know who or what or when. And then when I found your system and talked to Craig, and everything just clicked. It just made sense, you know? It's such a good system.
It does.
Not to interrupt you, but I just have a question for you to answer. And I don't know if you can or not. And Craig and I have had this conversation before, but I just want to see where you're at with it, is dissimilar metals. And do you have okay, can you go there?
Like you're talking about like a steel screw into the aluminum?
Well, like stainless steel and aluminum, but you're also talking about steel framing and how dissimilar metals. I've heard some nightmares about that kind of thing. So comment on that.
Are you talking about using them in conjunction with each other, or you're talking? Yeah. Well, it can be a nightmare, but we use like a rubber washer that isolates the stainless powder coated screw and the aluminum profile. So everything is 100% isolated, which is awesome. And as I say, like, this has been 15 years and no callbacks. So
It's
if
like a first layer of
unlike
protection.
it is, yeah. So even
The
with
rubber.
yeah, and like when you're using our concealed twist clip, which you've been using, and you know how
Mm-hmm.
fast they are, like it
Oh
actually
yeah.
does speed up the process. So you can lay all those twist clips into the channel, and they don't all need to be screwed down. So you're basically got this perfect solution for coastal environments. Like there's minimal screws going into it. There's just the components that are getting fastened. There's a rubber washer as an isolator, and you can put hardwood on the framing system and coastal applications, but there's also there's special creams like a barrier cream that you can dip the screw in before connecting it with the aluminum. So preference is the twist clip in coastal environments, but you can use a top fixed hardwood onto the frame as well.
Yeah, and one other thing we haven't talked about, and we're gonna jump over to the other to our Patreon here in a minute, but
Yep.
we also didn't talk about how your framing profiles. One side is grooved for a clip, and one side is flat for facial application, for face screwing, and that kind of thing. Like there's some old carpenters like me that it's hard to beat a face screwed application where you're just face screwing it in. And even if we're using your clip system, we still face screw part of the deck down to avoid expansion and contraction on PVC decking.
Yeah.
So we use a Cortex driller made by Fastenmaster to install on our PVC decks, but we're also flipping that particular joist over. If I know I'm going to be putting a bunch of screws in it, it is easier to install on the flat than it is on the grooved side of the board. So you guys just thought of everything.
Yeah.
Well, when the system came out.
Totally, but it's not just happened overnight. So this is 15 years of development, and then we've finally come to the US. So previously we had the channel profile with the twist clip for all the composite options, but then we had a different profile for the hardwood that was flat. So it's just one of those things, like over time with the team, we've developed that every profile has one flat side, so we don't need another profile. So if you're a dealer, we're trying to limit the profiles and the SKUs that they have in store. So that's why you've got 6 profiles, but you've got all the accessories are compatible with 4 of those profiles. So you don't need an abundance of different accessories. It's just trying to simplify, and it's a very sophisticated system, but actually very simple to install, which I think is the beauty of it.
Awesome. Andrea Fountain, you have been an amazing guest, and I'm glad that you chose to be on our podcast for your first ever podcast. That is so cool, and we are so honored to have you.
I thank you
so much
for including
We
us.
are going to spend some more time with you. Oh, you're welcome. Yes. We are going to spend some more time with you, though. But if you guys want to hear it, you got to jump over to our Patreon and sign up. It's only $5 a month, and you're going to get all the bonus stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about the pricing of this product and where it's going to come in the marketplace and so on and so forth, how it's being distributed, all that good stuff coming up. Calvin, hit that music. Andrea, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to the Dr. X podcast. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. Over
Thank you.